back of the rim. Garnett on the slam. Oh, using Curry way downtown. Oh, what a shot!
Appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you all when Damian Lillard gets traded. The day is finally here, ladies and gentlemen. The day that many of us have dreamt about for a long time. Whether you were a Portland fan, a Dame fan, or neither, I am pretty sure you have been tired of watching this happen again and again and again. I'm not talking about Dame and the Blazers just losing prematurely in the playoffs. I'm talking about this dance that happens every summer where somebody like Chris Haynes and or Dame says something that feels like he might ask for a trade and then he doesn't. Then we just do the same thing over again. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, he has requested a trade. The Heat, Clippers, 76ers are teams that Woj reported to have interest in trading for him, but along the way I did see the Nets thrown in as well, although I don't believe that really makes much sense for them. Regardless, we are going to discuss, and this just feels so great because Portland Twitter used to get pissed at me for pointing out that Dame himself would tweet things that felt like he was saying, maybe I might want to think about leaving, and they'd be going, oh no, he's already told you he wants to stay, y'all are reading too deep. Sometimes all you have to do is look on the surface. This man has been hinting at this for a long time, but then we would get the meeting and they would commit to another mediocre season. It is finally over. We are at the summer. The Blazers have their new direction. They've drafted Scoot Henderson. I believe once that happened, we all kind of figured it made zero sense for him to be playing off ball and next to Dame. I think we kind of knew they were never going to actually contend together. Looks like Dame knew that as well. He took the hint when they drafted his replacement. He is out of here. I do want to say, I hope we never have to go through this with a star player again. Just these two parties being tied to each other, holding each other hostage. I get that there's more to life than winning a championship if you're an NBA player. He had long said that it was bigger than basketball, but I'm gonna say probably around 2018-19 was the last time that it made sense for these two to be together. He should have done this a long time ago, especially because the Heat, who were just in the NBA Finals, are one of the teams that he is interested in going to. Why did we even go through the loyalty dance for the last 5+ years and the whole thing about not wanting to join other talent if it was just gonna happen this way anyways? Either way, I'm very happy for Dame, man. It's like watching somebody get out of an abusive relationship, except he was the one keeping himself there. I feel like Portland management has probably wanted to restart a while ago. However, if they were going to get to keep one of the best point guards in the NBA and sell tickets and do the dance without ever actually having to go sign another star player, they just seemed fine with it. Okay, so enough about that. Down to the nitty gritty. Where is he going? Well, I believe first on our list, first on everybody's list, is probably the Miami Heat. They just lost Gabe Vincent. Kyle Lowry is old. As soon as I seen that happen yesterday, my question to Twitter, which by the way is currently basically banning us all from even seeing any news that may break, first thing I asked was, who's going to play point guard for them next year? And it seems there was a plan. They've low-key been clearing space, and now a package involving Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, etc. is probably going to be the move. No matter what, there will, if this does happen, there will be Dame, there will be Jimmy, there will be Bam, and they just start from there. That's good enough. Actually, as a matter of fact, that's better. Of course, that's better. It was very clear what they were missing going up against the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. I had a friend, a Heat fan friend, ask me last night how it would feel if he ended up on the Miami Heat, of course, since as a Celtics fan, we have to play them every year. I'm just happy for Dame. To be honest, anybody that plays for the Heat was going to shoot 60% against Boston regardless, so at least if they continue to beat us, we won't just have to watch them die in the NBA Finals again. This would also be cool because Jimmy Butler is now up to 2 finals losses. He's had some Herculean efforts in the playoffs, but it always felt like we kind of knew they were still one piece away. This is definitely the piece. They just made the NBA Finals without Tyler Hero even playing, so I feel like that makes him expendable here. Of course, Max Strus is gone. Once again, I do believe this would also involve Duncan Robinson. Even if it didn't, they're still gonna have to go look for a shooter or two. Don't really know where you get that, but once again, a Miami Heat deal is just something where you do it now and figure the rest out later. Literally the perfect player that you can put next to Jimmy Butler. So much you can do with him and Bam Adebayo on offense, and you won't have to be depending on Bam to be the second guy when the role players aren't shooting 100%. While Bam is cool and he does well, I just wasn't sure that he was ever going to be the second best player on a championship winning team. I didn't know if it was going to happen. So I think we all see that that fits. I personally think that's where he's going. However, the Clippers are also looking at it as well because, hey, if you hadn't looked, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, their contract is looking a little bit fascinating. Even if they sign up for their player options, they only have about 2 years left before Los Angeles really has to figure something out. Do we keep trying to contend with these guys when they can't even play half a season? Do we move on now? Do we go all in? They have been recently linked to James Harden, of course. I believe Dame would be the better option there, but I'm not really sure what a package looks like here. AKA, does it still end up being PG, Kawhi, and Dame? My guess is that it does, because the Blazers want young assets in return. Makes sense, they are really kind of starting from scratch here. But I will say, regardless of what happens, this is not really my favorite anyways. At this point, I'm tired of going into every year saying if the Clippers were healthy. I just have this feeling as if even if they had Dame, there would still be some type of injury problem that would keep that squad from reaching its full potential. I kind of want to see the Clippers just go ahead and start over, but they have a new arena to pay for. I'm not really sure that's where their mind is. They're this far into Kawhi and PG, it seems like they might try to leave with something. So yes, I'd be fascinated to see how that even works out. But of course, if there were a scenario where you had Dame, PG, and Kawhi, and the Clippers were actually healthy, of course that would be fun. Of course they'd be amongst the favorites, but I don't really think it's gonna happen. I don't think the other with Philadelphia is going to happen either. So they are losing James Harden. He opted in so that they could sign and trade him. They are currently looking for a home. This being timed with Lillard requesting this trade does feel like, okay, well, let's see how that impacts it. And also, yeah, Dame and Joel Embiid, I think that is a duo that for a long time, just in terms of fit, we've all kind of flirted with the idea and just kind of said, wow, that would be crazy. It would very much behoove Philly to get that done if there were any way possible. You'll remember when I was talking about what winning a ring for each team would mean, I looked at the Sixers and said, Joel Embiid and James Harden are not on the same timeline. So if it doesn't work out this year, they will probably, especially because of Harden's contract, they will probably be looking at something else. And does that something else entice Joel Embiid to stay long term past the next year or two? And so they are looking really hard at this, trying not to strike out. If they don't get Dame, who is Philly bringing in James Harden's place that's going to keep them contending and actually put them over the top? There aren't that many names out there. Dame is one. He is the one. They strike out here, Miami gets stronger and continues to make finals runs. It kind of sort of feels like you will be starting to hear that Joel Embiid talk, I would say within the next 2 years. I might get some things wrong, but I do not get these wrong. When I start suspecting a player of looking elsewhere, I have a very high percentage with this. I'm just here to say it's probably the first time I've said it, but as it pertains to Embiid with age and the direction of the Sixers, I'm looking at my watch. He does not strike me as a Damian Lillard type guy who is just going to stay infinitely until he's a bit older and then finally leave. If it goes sideways, I could definitely see him looking out. I could see Philly not making the same mistake that Portland made with Dame and actually maximizing his return. Therefore, whatever they have to do to get Dame, it would make a lot of sense right now. I did say earlier I saw the Nets name flirting around, but again, that's a young team. They've got their pieces. They just re-signed Cam Johnson. Portland wants young pieces. I'm not sure why if you're the Nets you would go after Dame if that's what they're looking for. Dame and whatever young pieces you have left is not really going to do a whole lot for you. So not only do I not think that makes a whole lot of sense, I don't think it's going to happen. So yes, here on July 1st, first day of free agency, a lot of moves have happened. Dame saw that bag that they threw Jeremy Grant. He saw the draft and he finally said, you know what, time to run from the grind. This is one that not even I could grind. I'm kidding, by the way. This bro, he's past his expiration date in Portland. Nobody should give him shit for this. If he gets any shit, it's gonna be for the fact that it took this long. Well, that's all the thoughts I have for now. It is very likely that when he actually does get traded, I will be in Vegas for Summer League. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a video out, but just remember that I said I believe he's going to the Miami Heat. Didn't sound like he wanted anything to do with Boston, who by the way has not re-signed Jaylen Brown yet, has not extended him, so that's something to look out for. But in my opinion, it's kind of all or nothing for the Sixers and Heat, to be honest. We'll see who wins out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, please sub if you're new, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications every time a new video drops. I appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you on the next one.